Welcome to the forgotten chapters of human history, the secrets buried in time, hidden from the public, and locked away in vaults of silence. I'm R.J. Caton, and this is Dark Archives. Every week, we dive into suppressed history, occult rituals, and conspiracy truths they don't want you to hear. From ancient civilizations wiped off the map, to government projects buried beneath classified stamps, nothing is off limits. So light a candle, open your mind, and let's open the Dark Archives. The Great Molasses Flood is a reminder of engineering failure and corporate negligence leading to disaster. Imagine a tidal wave, not of water, but of sticky, sweet molasses barreling through the city. Sounds like a joke? In January 1919, Boston's North End had a massive storage tank of 2 million gallons of molasses used to make industrial alcohol. It broke. The result, a 25-foot high, massive wave of sticky sweet molasses pouring down the streets. Buildings were crushed. Horses and people were thrown about. Freight cars were tossed like toys. 21 died that day and over 150 were injured. Some say the sound was like a machine gun as rivets popped off of the industrial container. Some say molasses could be smelled for decades afterward. There is a plaque at the site, and some say you can still smell that faint, sickly sweet smell. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for more fun facts that you never learned in school. August 15th, 1977. A night like any other, till something impossible reached out from the void. At Ohio State University's Big Ear Radio Telescope, a signal, 72 seconds long, flared in from deep space. Narrow, focused, powerful, and never heard from again. Astronomer Jerry Amon circled the data and wrote one word beside it. Wow. It came from the constellation Sagittarius. No satellites, no Earth-based interference, just a clear, unbroken burst, like a whisper from the stars. The signal matched what we'd expect from an intentional transmission, the kind scientists dreamed aliens might send to say, "We're here." Was it a cosmic accident, a secret military test, or something older, smarter? We've never heard it again, not from that spot, not from anywhere. And in the vast silence of space, the wow signal still waits. A question with no answer, a voice we may never hear again. In 1995, a television broadcast stunned the world. Alien Autopsy, fact or fiction? It was a grainy 17-minute film allegedly showing a dead extraterrestrial, dissected by U.S. military doctors in 1947. Presented as top-secret footage from the infamous Roswell crash, the film sent chills down spines. Newspapers, scientists, believers, skeptics, all were watching. Was this the ultimate truth finally revealed? or the greatest hoax of our time. Ray Santilli, the man behind the footage, claimed he bought it from a retired military cameraman. But years later, he had admitted something strange. He confessed it was a recreation, shot on film in a London flat, using latex, animal organs, and clever editing. Yet, he claimed it was based on real footage he saw years before. Footage that had mysteriously degraded. So what did he really see? And why has the original film never surfaced? A hoax? Absolutely. But one built on just enough truth to leave a scar on our curiosity. Because sometimes the best lies are whispered through a lens of forgotten film and sealed inside a truth we're too afraid to look at twice. It was supposed to be paradise, a perfect world with endless food, shelter, and safety. A place where nothing could go wrong. They called it Mouse Utopia. In 1968, researcher John B. Calhoun built a rodent Eden, a self-contained universe where hundreds of mice were given everything they could ever need. No predators, no starvation, no disease, just infinite comfort. At first, it seemed like a miracle. The mouse population exploded. Families formed, life thrived. But then something changed. Mice began withdrawing from society. Mothers abandoned their young. Dominant males stopped defending their territory. The beautiful ones, as Calhoun called them, emerged. Perfectly groomed mice who did nothing but eat, sleep, and groom themselves, oblivious to the dying world around them. Violence surged. Cannibalism and madness spread. Reproduction slowed, then stopped entirely. And soon, Mouse Utopia became a silent graveyard, a monument to the collapse of a civilization without struggle. Calhoun warned that his experiment wasn't about mice, it was a mirror held up to us. And somewhere, in the dark corners of our own cities, his prophecy awaits. Welcome to Dark Archives, where everyday objects hide secrets stranger than fiction. The banana. Bright, familiar, harmless. Or is it? Inside each golden curve lies a silent passenger. Potassium-40, a naturally occurring isotope, and yes, it's radioactive. A single banana won't harm you. In fact, you'd need to eat 10 million in one sitting to suffer radiation poisoning. But the radiation is real. Hospitals and nuclear labs sometimes measure radiation doses in bananas. They call it the banana equivalency dose. A joke, a metaphor, or a warning. So the next time you reach for nature's sack, remember, you're not just getting a dose of potassium, you're getting a whisper from the atomic world beneath your skin. This has been Dark Archives, where the familiar becomes unsettling. It was called the Pride of Britain's Skies, a floating palace of luxury, ambition, and doom. The R-101 airship, the largest and most advanced of its kind, was meant to change the world. A vessel so vast, it carried dining halls, private cabins, and dreams of an empire connected by air. On October 4th, 1930, R-101 lifted into the night sky on its maiden voyage to India. But as it crossed the English Channel, the sky turned against her. Heavy rain, cutting winds, and a fatal design flaw. Too much weight, too little lift. Near the village of Allon, France, witnesses described a glowing giant descending from the clouds, groaning under its own impossible mass. The ground shook as R101 plummeted into a hillside and burst into flame. Of the 54 souls aboard, only 6 would survive. Today, little remains but fragments and long-forgotten graves. Official reports blamed the weather, but some survivors whispered of rushed engineering, political pressure, and secrets buried along with the wreckage. The R101 was supposed to be the future of flight. Instead, it became a tomb, drifting through the mist of memory and into another page in the dark archives. In September 1993, dozens of cars in the city-state of Singapore were vandalized, including being egged, spray-painted, and even smashed. 2 teenagers were arrested who told the Singapore police that students at the American School and ISS International School were responsible. A raid was conducted, and a vast number of street signs as well as a telephone booth were found in the students' rooms. Michael Fay, an American, was one of these students. He said later that he was intimidated and terrorized by the police during questioning, but pled guilty with the expectation that there would be no corporal punishment. This would not be the case. Despite the pleading of the American President Bill Clinton and the State Department, Fay was sentenced to 4 months imprisonment, a fine of a couple $1,000s, and 6 strokes of the cane. As an act of conciliation, Singapore President Ong Teng Cheong reduced the number of strokes from 6 to 4. It indicated the punishment would go ahead as sentenced. The caning itself involved a small running start. There were streaks of blood on his buttocks, but he shook hands with the cane operator after punishment. He then moved back to the US in Florida, where he would subsequently be found guilty of a number of minor violations and developed a butane addiction. As of today, the vandalism statutes remain on the books in Singapore. In the twilight spaces of our own bodies lies a ghost, a relic of evolution so unnecessary that it simply disappears. Tonight, we open the dark archives to the story of the Palmaris Longus tendon. Once, it served a purpose. In ancient ancestors, it anchored the muscles of survival, gripping, climbing, escaping the predators that once hunted us in the dark. But now, in the modern human body, it lingers like a forgotten memory. Stretch your palm, press your thumb and pinky together, and you might see it rise from your wrist like a pale thread. Or maybe you won't. Roughly 15 to 25% of humanity is born without it. No scar, no sign, no consequence. Gone, like a ghost that never even existed. Some cultures believed its absence was a mark of divine favor, or of some deep flaw best left unspoken. Surgeons sometimes harbored it, drafting it into repairs of broken bodies, a tendon without a purpose, finding one after death. But here's the mystery. No one knows why it disappears. No warning, no reason, just vanishing across generations as if our very bodies are quietly, slowly shedding the past. How many other parts of us will follow? In the anatomy of man, evolution writes in ink, but it deletes in silence.